West Ham. I mean, Liverpool was about to give Jared Bowen. Well, maybe still he might still be able to drink for free at Liverpool. A brace for West Ham, and West Ham were looking good against Manchester City. And then in the second half, Man City came back, but Riyad Mahrez missed a penalty, or rather, Fabianski did a great save to deny a full-on victory. But it's a draw. So now it's about the final day of the season for Man City against Aston Villa. Can Steven Gerrard? I mean, the narratives are crazy. We'll talk about it in a second. But let's talk about Man City, West Ham. It was the farewell to Mark Noble. Thoughts on that game?
What I'll say first and foremost, and I'm going to get kind of tactical geek on you, is that there was definitely some type of emphasis from David Moyes and West Ham about Jared Bowen running from outside to in. When Zinchenko at the left, both goals were scored from him going outside to in. He kept running on the inside of Zinchenko and in between the center back and the left back.
Yeah.
And just timed his run. And they were hitting, I don't want to say hopeful balls, but they were putting balls in that space and but they must have recognized something of how aggressive. I mean, City are very aggressive when they try to go win the ball, and they do play a high line at times. And the outside backs can get caught behind that line. And Zinchenko, who's not really necessarily known for his defensive prowess, got caught 2 times ball watching. And one was right before, a minute before halftime. And that made it 2-0. When it got to that goal right before half, I thought, this might not be City's day. We had a lot we knew they're going to get a lot of chances. That's what they do. But can Fabianski and the defense be sturdy enough to bend but not break? Ultimately, they broke, and it's tough. There was that opportunity, though, again, where you got to create your own luck. And Mikel Antonio read that bad back pass by Fernandinho, which could have ended the game or given West Ham the lead. It's just these little play. We're talking about the fine margins. Obviously, Fabianski makes the penalty save on Mahrez, and maybe the split of the points felt fair given all the balance of the chances and all that. But, Jack Grealish, I know much to your chagrin, ends up probably scoring his biggest goal so far for City. That was right after halftime. That was really important, too, for Grealish to get that goal.
Especially
or City to get that goal
time,
right after.
Yeah.
It was, just so they're like, oh, crap, we got a chance. And the longer that game or the longer they couldn't score, the more West Ham is going to get that belief and be more resolute, I'd say. But, God, City are so good when they go forward. It's pretty incredible. But that said, I think they have some defensive frailties. I don't think they're going to get found out this season. I think it's a little bit too late. I think they got the result they needed. I think they're going to go on to win the league. But we already saw it against Madrid in the Champions League. That's an area that I think Pep needs to look at outside of Erling Haaland, of course.
Yeah, well, you said a really good point about how West Ham utilized Jared Bowen. I thought David Moyes did a really good job tactically because they used Mikel Antonio really well. Joao Cancelo had no space to do anything. They were just very good. It was a very good game, but Man City obviously rectified a few things in the second half. But that penalty was massive. Fabianski, fantastic save. And then obviously you mentioned Mikel Antonio with that missed dip. All right, well, listen, now to our points, right? So Liverpool has to play Southampton, right?
Break it down for us.
Okay, so we look at the Premier League table for a second, all right? So with that point, which was a crucial point, everybody, because it would have been easier for Liverpool. But with that point, Man City have 90 points, a game over Liverpool. Liverpool have to play Southampton midweek. They're 4 points behind. Now, because the goal differential is important, Liverpool also have to kind of, not just beat Southampton, but also kind of thrash them, which has been done in the past, I'm sorry to say.
Leicester City only does that.
Yeah, exactly. Not by Liverpool, but it's been done. Hasenhüttl has been the victim of many a thrashing, right? So if that happens, final day of the season, now we have a situation, by the way, where Man City is hosting Aston Villa, Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa, former legend of Liverpool, Steven Gerrard, right? Jack Grealish facing his former club. So the narratives are everywhere, right? And Liverpool has to play Wolves at home, which you would expect would be a good, solid victory for them, but you never know, right? Do you think, and I think you said it already earlier, Jimmy Conrad, but Man City has enough here? Is it going to be tricky? What do you think? Well, first of all, Liverpool, Southampton, and Pep was asked if he had a message for Southampton, and he said, just beat Liverpool 4-0.
I love that. I love his sense of humor in there. Always helps, especially in high-pressure situations. I think that Liverpool are going to be tested in this one. I think Southampton have played less games in the same window of time that Liverpool have. Mo Salah got hurt in the FA Cup final.
Good point.
I think it felt more precautionary. You know, he comes out, he said after the game, the FA Cup final, that he'd be good to go for the Champions League final. But he didn't answer any questions about whether he'd be ready for the next game in the Premier League and what that looks like. So I'm kind of curious what Jurgen Klopp elects to do and which players he elects to risk in these particular moments. That said, Salah goes out, Luis Diaz, who's been a fantastic signing, and it was super lively in the FA Cup final. You know, you got him. Jota came in and did excellent, I thought, for Mo Salah as well. Took a great penalty to when the pressure was on. So I appreciate what he brings to the table. Bobby Firmino got some minutes as well. So they're going to have some of that. Van Dijk, though, also got hurt in that game. So does he start? They're not as formidable when he's not in that back line. I think there are some weaknesses. So there's room. There's a narrative there to say that Liverpool could quote unquote struggle.
Southampton won this exact fixture last season.
I know. And
1-0.
You just don't know which version of Southampton's going to show up. That's the big thing here. Is Broha going to continue his fine form this season and maybe elect Chelsea bringing him back from being on loan to just because he's been so good and he's so dynamic, and I really like how he's been playing a ton of confidence.
Yeah,
you know, if he's a talisman, he's out there making plays. It's going to give the team more belief, and you can't. From a Southampton perspective, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but James Ward-Prowse is so good on free kicks. If you give the Saints opportunities in and around the box on set pieces, corner kicks, free kicks, whatever, they can hurt you. And so that's just something I think that Liverpool have to pay attention to, because they do have at times, like most teams, you know, you have a little bit of a slip up. And we're also seeing, you've mentioned this before, Elami, multiple times, that set pieces are ultimately being the fine margins that are defining a lot of these games and who's going up and who's going down and who's winning the league. So obviously this could prove to be another vital moment or vital component to whether these teams have success or failure.
Absolutely.